What's going on, guys? Lance here. So I was cleaning out my Pokemon storage in Pokemon Home and decided afterwards to read some Pokedex entries. I recently got the new mythical Pokemon Zarude and wanted to read some of its dex entries, but after that I started reading some other Pokemon's entries that I haven't read too much on. And that's where I stumbled upon Eternatus' entries. Now Eternatus has 4 total entries, 2 for its normal form and 2 for its Eternamax form. Eternamax being the form it takes on during the climax of the main story of Pokemon Sword and Shield. So the entry that caught my eye was the Shield entry for its normal form, and it states, "It was inside a meteor that fell 20,000 years ago. There seems to be a connection between this Pokemon and Dynamax phenomenon." Now this reminded me a lot of how Mega Rayquaza worked, in that it takes the energy in Meteors and uses it to Mega Evolve, a form change, just like Eternamax. But I kind of thought, that's Mega Evolution, and Eternatus is related to Dynamax, so how do they connect? And this made me wonder if Infinity Energy, the energy that created Mega Evolution, and the energy inside of Eternatus that it uses are one and the same, or at least related nonetheless. Now first off, Mega Evolution is newer to the Pokemon world than Dynamax, since in that entry it stated that Eternatus arrived in a meteor 20,000 years ago, whereas Mega Evolution was created 3,000 years ago, when AZ set off the ultimate weapon. And through learning more about the ultimate weapon and how the energy from it works, we also know that it runs off the life force of Pokemon and the power of the legendary Pokemon Xerneas and Yveltal. Those legends' power are what went and created Megastones when the energy from the ultimate weapon hit the land using their power. And in ORS, we learn a lot more about Infinity Energy, especially in the Delta episode, where I find a lot more ties to Eternatus. When playing through the Delta episode, we learned that the Devon Corporation was using Infinity Energy to make life for people and Pokemon better. Yay! But doesn't Infinity Energy come from the life force of humans and Pokemon? Meaning the Devon Corp is killing people and Pokemon alike to power submarines and make life better? Yes, but also no. Infinity Energy was used like that with the ultimate weapon. But since then, it's also referenced later in the Delta episode that when meteors would strike the Earth, it would release tons of natural energy, enough to wake the primals Groudon and Kyogre. And also the same meteors being able to grant Rayquaza Mega Evolution. And what Pokemon came from a meteor that also happens to have the ability to change the forms of other Pokemon? That would be Eternatus, granting both Dynamax and the form-changing Gigantamax. So knowing that the natural energy from the Earth and meteors like the ones in Meteor Falls in Hoenn can provide infinity energy, we can assume that the Earth just naturally has infinity energy dormant in it, and so do the meteors. And that the Devon Corp could have been using this type of infinity energy, since it is more abundant, especially in Hoenn, where meteors and meteor showers are more common. And since the Devon Corp was able to produce more energy than the ultimate weapon for their rocket, it would have taken a considerable amount of life to make that happen. And things would have seemed off. In actuality, you focus more on the meteors, and Steven is more knowledgeable on this, like his dad told him at a young age how the rocks grant power, causing maybe his rock fixation. But if we actually want to find the truth, we can go to Sea Mauville in the ORAS games. Going to Sea Mauville, we can find confidential documents, and one of them tells about how they developed a new type of energy, and that it was from the bio-energy of Pokemon, and that's where they deemed it Infinity Energy. By doing it this way, using the bio-energy, it makes it not only renewable, but it doesn't risk the life of a Pokemon, which is what Devon Corp was doing all along. So now that we can assume the Earth and meteors can both mix together to produce infinity energy, we can bring it back to Eternatus and how it's using energy. In its normal form sword entry, it says, "The core on its chest absorbs energy emanating from the lands of the Galar region. This energy is what allows Eternatus to stay active. So it absorbs the energy of the land where it hit in a meteor shower. Now does that sound familiar? It's a parallel to what happened in the Hoenn region when the meteors hit. But it doesn't stop there. If you think about how the wild area is full of power spots said to be from the darkest day, when Eternatus had shards of its body fall down like meteors after its defeat from Zacian and Zamazenta. What if the wild area was hit by the meteor that brought Eternatus? It is close to Hammerlock where you do encounter the dormant Eternatus. The wild area is a lot lower than the rest of the Galar region, as if it was a crater. And just like in Hoenn, Meteor Falls was a big hotspot for infinity energy, like the wild area is for Dynamax energy. When it says in the same entry that the energy allows it to stay active, does that mean if it stops using the energy, it would have to cocoon up, like some other Pokemon related to infinity energy we know? Perhaps Xerneas and Yveltal? Well, yes it does, and it did so to recharge its energy like them too. And this correlates right into Eternamax's entry for Sword, where it reads, as a result of Rose's meddling, Eternatus absorbed all the energy in the Galar region. It's now in a state of power overload. So it tells us that it absorbed the energy in the Galar region, probably the energy of the land and meteors, to take on a form change just like Meteor Rayquaza when it uses the power of the meteors to take on its mega form. And with Eternatus being the beacon that allows Dynamax and Gigantamax form-changing non-permanent forms, it's almost identical to Xerneas and Yveltal using infinity energy to create Megastones. And for a final bit is how the second Eternamax entry for Sword and Shield states, infinite amounts of energy pour from this Pokemon's enlarged core, warping the surrounding space-time. And in the Delta episode, what were they trying to use infinity energy to do? Warp time and space and open a portal to another world to send a meteor? Showing that infinity energy has the ability to warp time-space for both events. And what was in the meteor in the Delta episode? Deoxys, another Pokemon that can change its form with the power of a meteor. Once again showing that meteors bring a lot of unique changes to Pokemon that interact with them. All this showing that Dynamax energy and Infinity energy are more than likely one and the same. So I think I'll leave this theory off here. If you like this type of video and want to see more, drop a like and a comment about what you thought about this down below. And if you're new, consider subscribing. It's completely free. Other than that, thanks for coming out.